46 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. He's bright-eyed, he's bushy-tailed. He is Mike Ryan, the artistic director with Santa Cruz Shakespeare. Good morning.
Good morning. So great to see you.
Nice to see you again, too. How is it going? How exciting it is.
It's going great. We're launching into our fourth season. We've got 3 plays coming down the pipeline. One of them's open. One of them opens next week. And one opens about 3 weeks from now. And then they're going to all run and rep through August. So it's exciting. We were able to expand from 2 shows last year to 3 shows this year. And
what was it that happened, Mike, that made the difference that you were able to do that?
We had tremendous ticket sales last year. We exceeded our ticket sales goal by about 10% last year. And we were able to get started a little earlier this year. You may remember that last year we were building the new space. So
yes.
We were a little worried about when we'd be able to get in and get underway. But this year with the space already built, we were able to start early enough to produce 3 shows.
Isn't this great that now here you are with 3 shows, you're going to do rep, you've got increased ticket sales. When you go back 5 years and you look at the mess that was, the sad mess that was, as to what happened with Shakespeare Santa Cruz, and now you have success upon success. You've got people loving where you are. You've had great reviews for this, the Hitchcock play. Was the Hitchcock play, was it not? I was reading about yesterday.
Yes, we just opened that last week. So,
and I know folks who've been and absolutely their sides hurt.
Oh, good.
When they got home because they laughed so much. So what an amazing difference that folks like yourself and the other stalwarts that decided to make it a move and make it for real.
Yeah, it's been a huge group effort, but really the credit belongs to the community because they said we want this thing. And we're willing to support it, and they've rallied behind us when we needed a new home, and we were able to pay for that home already. We've already finished fundraising for it. So it's been an extraordinary adventure, but really the credit, a lot of people have put in a lot of hard work, but the bulk of the credit belongs to the community that has really supported us over the last
Now, I know
years.
that there were a few whiners and were worried about the traffic and noise and that mitigation. Is that all absolutely fine?
I think so. We continue to ask people to be careful as they drive through the neighborhood because we want to be good neighbors to the folks in Prospect Heights. But I think the biggest concern when we were proposing moving to De La Vega Park was that people just didn't know what it would bring. And I think now that they've been through a season and they realize it's nothing terrible. And in fact, I think there was one complaint last year, and it was from someone parking, down in the neighborhood and hiking up to the park rather than any sort of specific traffic issues.
That's absolutely awesome. It just shows that lemonade can be made from lemons.
Absolutely.
Good. Now, so tell us about the Hitchcock piece.
Sure. It's the 39 Steps. It's a 4-person adaptation of the 1935 film. And it is
4 people?
It's only 4 actors. Playing all the roles. There's one actor who plays Richard Hannay, the main character from the film, and a woman who plays the 3 love interests that he has over the course of that movie. And then there are 2 clowns who play every other person in the story, and some inanimate things too, like I play a bog at one point. So it's one of those plays that is designed for the wheels to come off. There are too many fast costume changes, too many crazy things that the playwright asks you to do. On opening night, while switching between characters, I was playing a Scottish innkeeper's wife, and my red wig flew off into the audience, and I had to pick it back up and slam it down on my head. It's the kind of play that invites that kind of madcap behavior, which is why I think people are having so much fun watching it.
Well, that's a lot, though. A lot of costume changes. Huh?
It is a lot of costume changes.
Was that your decision? Was to make just have it before people?
It's the playwright's decision. Patrick Barlow, who wrote the adaptation of it, ran a company in England where they used to adapt films to stage work, and he created this piece using only 4 actors, and it's been hugely popular ever since just because it's so much fun.
Well, you know what? Of course, in the UK, pantomime is very, very popular, especially at the winter and holidays, and that has that same element of farce and slapstick and men dressing as women and that kind of thing, and it's hugely popular.
Absolutely. It definitely borrows from that old English music hall tradition.
Good. And then what do you have starting this week?
Then this week, we start previews. Let's see, this coming week, next week, we start previews for Measure for Measure, which is, while it's technically labeled a Shakespearean comedy, it's a very serious and somewhat dark piece about the nature of rulership and the balance between justice and mercy, and how one can rule justly but also mercifully for people who need it.
Okay, and then your third production?
Then the third production is The Two Gentlemen of Verona, which is a romantic comedy, and that will open in about 3 weeks. On August 4th, and then the 3 plays rep throughout the month of August until September 3rd.
And what were you involved in the decision as to the plays, or was it solely your decision?
No, absolutely. One of my jobs as artistic director is to pick the season of plays. And the way I go about that is, we've learned long ago that the Shakespearean comedy is our bread and butter. That's the show that's always sells the best. And there's only about, 8 of them that we do regularly. So we keep an eye out what's coming up in the rotation, and that tends to be the centerpiece of the season. In this case, it was The Two Gentlemen of Verona. Although it's been 17 years since we last produced that play.
Goodness me. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. And then we pick a play that contrasts with it in some interesting way, and this year Measure seemed to be a good contrast for it. And then based on casting needs and the rest of the season, we picked the third non-Shakespeare play. Good.
For folks who haven't been up to the new venue, first of all, thank goodness that fire was contained.
Oh my God, so quickly.
I know.
It was amazing. Those guys did such a tremendous job.
They were fantastic. That was last Friday afternoon, actually. I saw it when I was at Shoppers Corner. I could just see right to it, and I went, oh no.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad, bless them all. But for folks who haven't been before, Mike, can you explain what they should anticipate? Because everybody knew Shakespeare Santa Cruz. They knew, I'm going to take my picnic, I'm going to take my wine, I'm going to do this. What is the setup up in De La Viega?
We tried to recreate the experience as much as possible. It's not in a redwood grove, but it's in a eucalyptus grove. So it's still outdoors. It's still in a beautiful tree-lined area. We have views of the bay this time around, which is really lovely, and a beautiful bluff where audiences can come and picnic early with great views of the city and the bay. And of course, they're also welcome to picnic down in the theater itself. We invite people to bring wine and, enjoy the show and picnic while they watch.
There you go. And I think that is such a beautiful way to experience something like that, because it gives the experience of going to see a play a whole nother level.
Absolutely. There's an event to it, which is really nice. And the other thing that's so great about it is watching community members who know each other, see each other in the theater. It has a feeling of a gathering place, which is really a wonderful thing to have experienced.
How many do you seat for each performance?
About 480.
Oh, so it's a really good size.
That's a decent size, yeah.
And the acoustics play well with the acoustics off the eucalyptus. I was going to say we're off the redwoods.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things we learned last year in the space was that the front 2/3 of the house was great acoustically, but then there was a sort of die-off spot towards the back of the house. So one of the things we spent some money on this year was improving sound in the back of the house, and the acoustics are great now.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, congratulations. I'm so glad to hear that the ticket sales are good and that you've paid it off. It's just such a lovely success story.
It's been really, really terrific and a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Good. Well, we're so glad for you. Congrats. And thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Mike Ryan is the artistic director of Santa Cruz Shakespeare. If you would like to go and see Measure for Measure, we have a pair of tickets. You'll be able to choose your own performance that you would like to go to for that, and you'll just have to go online. What's the website, Mike?
It's www.santacruzshakespeare.org.
There you go. And if you would like to go, you can be caller number 6 to 479-1080. 479-1080, caller 6. Look how good you're going to look when you go home and say, darling, I'd love to take you out for a wonderful evening under the open sky in a beautiful natural amphitheater. We'll have have a picnic. We'll have a little wine and we'll look at a little Shakespeare. So get on the phone, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone, measure for measure at Santa Cruz Shakespeare. It is 56 minutes past 8 a.m. This is Good Morning Monterey Bay.